So one thing I love about MICA is
One thing I like about MICA is
Hey folks, welcome back to Smart MBA Preparation. This is season 2, episode number 3 of this day last year, wherein a lot of real life MICans share their own GEPI experiences. Today I have Yash and Anirudh, first year students at MICA Ahmedabad.
I am a BCom graduate. I graduated in 2017 from the Rajasthan University. And post that, I worked for a total of 3.5 years in companies like Uber Eats and Zomato. So I have this specific industry experience.
I've done my undergraduation from NMIMS in BSc Economics. From the very onset, I like to say I have a very unique background because before doing my undergraduation economics, I was earlier pursuing statistics honors from Kirodimal College in Delhi University, which I dropped out at the end of my second year, after which I went and pursued economics.
My MICA GPI was held at the campus only, Ahmedabad. It was on 5th March 2021. Right. So there are two phases for the GPI. First, there is the group exercise where where you'd be, put into a groups of 6 to 8 people, and then you'd be given a task, and you have to accomplish that within 30 minutes. That is the stipulated time. And then there's a personal interview that is taken by usually 3 to 4 people. Right. So in my group exercise, I was put into a group of 6 people, and the task that we were assigned was that we had to come up with three catchy slogans for a T-shirt brand. And we were given a set of 20-25 words, and we had to use those words in order to make those three slogans. Right. And it had to be like a typical funky T-shirt brand for whom we had to come up with slogans. We were given a time limit of 30 minutes, and the strategy that I personally followed, I don't know if others followed that in my group or not, was that to work harmoniously and to be agreeable with all the group members in order to get the work completed in time. And it worked well in the favor of the group. So because out of those 6 people, 4 of them are today in MICA, including myself. Right.
So my GEPI was conducted on 17th March 2021 in Dwarka, and I was the first person from Delhi to be interviewed in that year. The GE topic that we first got was that we had to create a game for the elderly, sensitizing them about the various precautions that need to be taken during the COVID wave. We were a group of around 6. We had two panelists, a male and a female, and we were given props in the sense of arts and crafts. We were given chart papers, pens, sketches, etc. So my approach for the group exercise was, so when I was researching about group exercises in Mike, I did not find much information. But whatever I got, I like to share here for all of you so that you can use it. So the first thing is very important to not speak a lot. You have like make sure that you get, so in the 20-minute time that you get to do your work, make sure that you speak every 3 minutes and you bring up relevant points. Make sure you don't speak over somebody. Make sure you're extremely polite. You're very understanding of other people, and you're a team player. That's what you have to show. Because at the end of the day, the panelists are not looking at the output that you guys are showing it to them at the end of the exercise. They are more interested in the process. They want to see how you work in a group. So one thing that will also make you stand out is, firstly, there should be a timekeeper for the group, somebody who's keeping a track of everything. So that is something I did. I kept a track on the time, and that helps you get noticed by the panelists because you have taken an extra responsibility, which helps the group in doing their work in a more efficient manner.
There were 3 panelists in my interview, right? And all 3 of them were male. 2 of them were middle aged, and one of them was comparatively younger. So I can't quite recall who they were because they were all wearing masks while sitting across the table. So I'm not sure who they were, but yeah. So So how I prepared for the interview in the first place was that before the interview, you get to write this SOP, right? And it is you get a very short space in that SOP, so you have to make full use of it to get your point across. So I wrote my SOP very strategically about my, and it revolved around my work experience. So I linked my work experience with my goal to get into MICA, and how my work experience and my past experiences could help me be a better student here, right? And apart from that, in the likes and dislikes, I wrote topic that I knew I could talk about really well, that I was sure about. So yeah, that was my strategy to fill that SOP form. And more often than not, your interview only revolves around what you write in that SOP, right? And so was the case with me. So here were some of the questions that were asked to me in my interview. So, first of all, I was the last in my panel. Like I was waiting from the morning till 4 p.m. in the evening to get a to to for my turn for the interview. So it was pretty tiring. Yeah. So when I got the chance to go into interview, the first question they asked me, that how does it feel to be the last one on the panel? I said, I'm the last roll number. I'm used to being the last roll number, so it was no big deal for me. They chuckled at it, so that was a good start. So I mentioned good conversations in one of my likes. So what were the good conversation? What is a good conversation according to me, and how do I define it? Right. Apart from that, so then they asked the follow-up question. So is that it? Is this interview that's going on? Is this a good conversation according to you? Why or why not? And then they got to the business. So they asked me, ki, let's say there are four departments in a company and all of them are in deep trouble. You have enough money to just revamp just one department, and the four departments are customer service, finance, human resources, and marketing. So which one would you choose and why? And I answered customer service because customer service fixes the leakage in the in the funnel of the sales. So yeah, that was briefly my reasoning to answer that. I was drawing a decent salary while I was working before coming to MICA. So they asked me my reason to, give up that income and study for 2 years here at MICA, and how would I justify that? So yeah, that. Then they asked me about what do I think is the better form of marketing, digital or traditional? And whatever my answer is, why am I answering that? I had to back up my answer with the reason as well, right? So then they asked me about my work. So what kind of data do I come across daily while working at Zomato, and how do I make use of it in order to work better? Then they asked me any CSR initiative by Zomato. Then they asked me that I worked at both Zomato and Uber Eats. So what are some striking differences in their marketing strategy that I've noticed? So that, yes. And then they asked me that name any three problems India is currently facing except the pandemic, and why do you think those are the problems people should pay their attention to? Yeah. And in my dislikes, I had also mentioned slow machines. So I was asked to justify that as well. So yeah, that's pretty much about my interview experience.
For my interview, there were three panelists. Two of them were alums, and I think one of them was a professor. My interview, I was very nervous for my interview because I was asked about my gap year in whichever um, interview I was sitting for, and I really wanted Micah badly, and I didn't want that aspect to be a hindrance to my chances. So I was very nervous initially, but the panelists were extremely friendly, and the first question they asked is why Micah, and that is this question I would urge all aspirants to definitely prepare for. Make sure you have an answer which is both emotional and technical. So they started with that question, then they asked more about me, like they wanted me to tell them about myself. Then they moved on to asking, so there we have an SOP, the sheet that we have to fill before the interview. They did not touch upon that at all. They said that we have read and we will not waste our time going through that again. And that may not be true for you because every person's interview is different. So after that, they asked me a guesstimate question as to how many footballs do I think would fit in that room, and I gave an answer, mm, and I backed it up as well. And then they asked me if I played football, if I was good enough, and then because I'm an economic graduate, they also asked me one technical question where they wanted me to compare two countries, one which has been able to handle COVID properly and one which has not, and the economic implications as to economic implications of both. So that was about it. One last thing I'd like to mention about the interview was that from the day I got into where got selected for the GEPI, I used to visualize the interview, and I was sure of one thing, that irrespective of how my interview goes, I will make sure that I've given my 100%, because at the end of the day, I was desperate to get into MICA, and I wanted to, and I had to show them that desperation. So at the end of the interview, they asked me if I have any questions for them, and I said that I don't have any questions, but I'd like to say something. And I gave a monologue for 3 minutes telling them how much I worked on myself and how badly I want MICA, which I think paid off. So that's what I did. So basically, the interview is all about you. They want to see if you're a cultural fit for the college. They don't want to see if you're an academic fit for the college. They want to see if you're a cultural fit. So please keep that in mind.
So one thing I love about Micah is that, you have a lot to learn from people here. You have a lot to learn from every damn person you'd come across here. But in order to make use of that opportunity to learn, you have to be willing to go out of your comfort zone, right? So when you come to Micah, you notice that people are forming people, they're into groups, and then they keep stuck to those groups. You have to be able to venture out and meet new people and willing to be talk to new people in order to do that. So this one time I was going out for a walk around the campus at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I came across two gentlemen who were having a chat about politics. I joined them in, and we ended up having the conversation, the three of us, till around 9 a.m. in the morning. We didn't sleep all night. We just kept talking about politics, culture, society, sports, arts, religion, and almost everything under the sun for around 5 hours. And we didn't feel tired at all. So that's one of my favorite moments at MICA, and that's one of the best things about MICA as well, that it has to offer. But you have to be willing to go out of your comfort zone in order to do that.
One thing I like about MICA is the culture, hands down, because I feel that MICA as an institution is the perfect blend of creativity and logic, and it helps a person merge both those aspects of that person and enhance those, which makes them uh, which gives them an edge over others in the corporate world. And that is something I don't think you'll find in any other college, and that is why I feel that I would not have been able to fit in any other college other than MICA.
So thanks a lot folks for watching this video. Do give it a like, share and subscribe. And we are really excited to host you at MICA. So all the best for your interviews.